Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
So they killed Charlie and they killed Marley, both the Kennedys and Marilyn. They killed Diana and they killed Jackson. We are the legacy, this is their anthem. Stay silent, stay violent, stay plugged in and divided. Bombs drop from heaven just like hail. Dragged your own through the mud, well done Israel. When the altar and a ballot and a barrel shooting me.
Performing artist EMA, headlining Anarchapulco.
Jeff and Apples walk the street, talking about the sky so neat. Weather weapons causing storms, globalists with secret forms. Jeff and Apples, what a pair. Whisper plots while breathing air. Apocalypse is on its way, but they still find time to play. But they still find time to play. But they still find time to play.
Oh, feels good back at the ranch. Been crazy travel. Just arrived basically yesterday from basically Africa. Immediately went into meetings, worked until fairly late at night, up at 3 in the morning, up at the crack of dawn, riding in the racer with my son, and have non-stop meetings today. Just crazy. But I would like to thank the Mossad production agency for actually putting everything on hold for the last 3 weeks while I was in Egypt.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. And the world is our stage.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like for 3 weeks, I was doing a boga, which was incredible. Had an incredible trip with my wife and daughter and son. We all returned back, changed people, amazing. Like I feel incredible. Like on top of the aboga to have all these, I've basically healed a bunch of my traumas. I'm like Superman now. We got the Tesla machine. That also doesn't hurt at all. Got plasma. This is the best 3D video game ever. And I'm just going like non-stop. It's been incredible. But like I said, through that whole 3 weeks or more, it was almost a month in Egypt, which I had no idea what I was getting myself into, by the way. Like I thought it was going to be like a casual, like, hey, we're going to go see a few temples. No, it's going to be a non-stop 3 in the morning to 9 at night, just going all over the place. People are having all kinds of breakdowns and then healings. So anyway, I was super glad. Like I kept looking. I'm like, I hope I'm not missing anything too big. And I check every few days. No, nothing. Basically nothing. Zero. But then on our last day in Egypt, as we were all getting ready to go to the airport, this 3D video game is amazing. Like all of a sudden, a fairly major event happened. And by fairly major, I mean a usual event that happens almost every couple months. By basically Mossad, CIA, and FBI, you know, Kash Patel, Pam Blondie, all those sort of people, always doing these sort of things. But just, I mentioned my last video as just like, oh, I see there was just a false flag. And then my flight got here and I looked into it further and I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty, like, I don't know if there's much I need to even say about it. And this is kind of what I was saying before, too, is I don't know if I even want to bother talking about this stuff anymore. But I think this one's worth talking a little bit about, but real quick, you guys, if you've been watching ththese videos, you're like a graduate class in, like, connecting dots and understanding the world. So I'm sure all of you must be like, well, yeah, we know. So I don't need to say a lot. And this is great. Got the greenhouses going now. They've been like planting tons of stuff in there. Soon we're going to have the best salads ever. Oh, I should mention too, like we're moved into our house here now. So we're officially, if you've been watching these videos since the COVIDs, you know, the COVID-19, all the way back in early 2020, that was when I decided. I said right there, I'm not going to go back and look through all the videos, but I know I said it numerous times that, yeah, this is it. I'm going to go find a ranch and grow all my own food and get away from society. And that was 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, actually. Yeah, holy cow, time flies. And man, it took a while to get this off the ground. But as of basically when we arrived yesterday, we moved into our house. It took 6 years. What a long, and you know, Hurricane Otis, the Cat 5 hurricane that they sent to me, slowed me down for like a year or two. We should have been moved in a year or two ago, but that Otis thing totally delayed us. But anyway, we're finally moved in here, and so many things are like moving along here. It's pretty, like there's so much work being done here, which is so great. But yeah, like I said, so you know, I didn't have a lot of time to look into it, but as I'm sure most people know, if you've got an internet connection or if you're on the television programming or whatever, well, that's one thing I should mention too. I was in a lot of hotels, like in Frankfurt for a couple nights, Cairo, and some of them are like international hotels, so they all have like the BBC on or CNN, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like the entire time, I couldn't believe it. It's like living in an alternative reality. Like the BBC one a couple weeks ago was all about, oh, there was some mistakes made during the COVIDs, and they were like, yeah, we could have tweaked a few things. It's like, it was a genocide. It was a massive AI nanotech takeover of the world. So I couldn't believe all the stuff I was saying, but like I said, right as I was leaving Egypt, all of a sudden, there's this, a lot of people talk about, oh, Bondi Beach, a mass shooting, a terror attack, which I don't even like calling it that, because that's actually a trigger word. It's actually part of the mind control programming that they have on everyone to call whatever they want a terror attack. But you know what happens in Gaza? That's, you know, self-defense and, you know, all that kind of stuff against all these little kids. And so I didn't even look into it too much, but I looked into it enough, like 10 minutes. It was like, okay, that's enough. I've seen enough. But I think they said 10 might have been killed. You can't trust any of this, by the way. It's being reported by the government and the mainstream media. For all we know, nothing happened, really. Now, of course, you know, there's, you know, probably a lot of independent people got video and stuff. So from that part, we can know something happened. The rest is mostly probably just made up, like for the most part. I'm not saying no one died. Probably people did die. That they usually have to do that. You know, 9/11 is a good example. They're not afraid to kill a bunch of people when they do their false flags. But yeah, so I looked into it, and of course the mainstream was like, well, it's this Muslim guy from ISIS, which is the Israel's CIA's group. You know, none of this needs to make any sense to people. And he was doing it at this Jewish thing, and it was anti-Semitic, of course, even though the Jews aren't Semitic, and actually they don't even really exist. It's all made up. And, yeah, if this is your first video, you got a lot of catching up to do. I don't have time to explain it all as we go here, especially during the apocalypse. But we did go and buy some crackers today. He's very happy about that. The crackers. It's so great. He actually likes to be with me all the time now. Everything changed since Egypt, when I got rid of my ancestral family trauma. That's definitely been in our family for decades, as I've seen personally with my dad and my grandpa. And they used to tell me it was the Berwick curse, but I ended the curse, and now everyone's all happy. And now he wants to be in the videos. He's also tough. He's an Oilers fan. Oh yeah, let's get out of here. He's tough. All right. Okay, what was I talking about? Man, so yeah, the Jewish thing, they said a bunch of Jews got killed, which could have happened, might have happened, I don't know. And, but what I did see was all kinds of things that didn't make any sense. Again, right? Just like every single time, the Charlie Kirk thing, for example, none of it made any sense, like zero. And it was the usual thing, just like with the Charlie Kirk, just like with most of them. They had a whole bunch of Jewish crisis actors there, all ready to act. And this one was like super obvious. There was like one top Israeli propagandist guy who's been at all the events. They're quite cheap. These Jews are quite cheap. Like, if they're less cheap, they'd get some new actors for each one. But, you know, they had the Charlie Kirk guy. He was at 9/11. He called in the Salt Lake City marathon bomb hoax. And same with this guy. He survived October 7th. Wow, I don't know how he survived that mostly staged event that was at least partially AI and was the Israeli government on people in Israel. He was at that. He was at some other, when they're bombing, Iran was bombing, he was there. And yeah, I don't know if he was at the Holocaust. I wouldn't be surprised. I think they said, by the way, this is another part of it, that a bunch of Holocaust survivors were the people who were killed or shot at this event, which is, drumroll please, just so hilarious. These Holocaust survivors, they never die. It's the opposite of what they say it is. You know, the Holocaust, all these Jews got killed. All I see is all these ones that are still alive, like 100 years later. Oh, I didn't even mention that Apples is here, but she's up at our house. But actually now it looks like my son's gonna be following me around on my videos. He likes to be with me all the time now. Whereas before he kind of was a little distant. Anyway, so you got that guy, and he's been at all the events. And, well, here's just a little bit more information on him.
So you're trying to tell me that one of the victims who was shot at the Bondi Beach shooting is one of Israel's top propagandists who just so happened to be there and October 7th and survived them both. Meet Arsen Ostrovsky, a lawyer who resides in both Australia and in Israel, who just so happened to be at the Bondi Beach shooting and was shot in the head but managed to survive his wounds. Now I need you all to understand, this guy is one of Israel's top propagandists. It is literally his job to go after any and everybody who criticizes Israel. And it would be one thing if he was a top Israeli propagandist. It was at October 7th and managed to survive. And another thing if he was a top Israeli propagandist, was shot in the head at Bondi Beach and was only there and managed to survive. But when you are at both and you manage to survive both, and your first instinct is to stop, drop, and take a selfie after allegedly being shot in the head, yeah, you're gonna get some side eyes. Deservedly so. This guy was part of the quote-unquote legal dream team assembled to challenge the ICC arrest warrants against Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Gallant. This dude is the same one who went on X and said that there are no civilians in Gaza, only accomplices. And yet this dude got shot in the head and decided, you know what? I need to pull out my phone, take a picture, and post on X to show everyone how much distress I am experiencing at the moment. Because otherwise, how will Israel be able to weaponize this against all their anti-Zionist enemies? Once again, Israel, y'all making it more and more difficult to beat those false flag accusations. Now, when you couple this information with the fact that one of those gunmen was researched in Tel Aviv days before this attack took place, it's starting to look more than just a little bit suspicious. And that's just like a super crazy coincidence that if there was going to be somebody to get shot in the head and survive, it just so happened to be the legal defense of Bibi Netanyahu for the Gaza massacre that he's committing. It just so happened to be somebody who was in Israel and survived October 7th, and he just so happened to get shot in the head and survived? Like, what are the odds of that alone happening? The jig is up, Israel. Like, we see through this bullshit. We ain't fooling nobody anymore.
So yeah, the guy who's always at all the events where the Semites are getting attacked, and they're not Semites, apparently got shot in the head. Okay, stop me if you've heard this before. Does this ring a bell? Remember the last time the guy got shot in the head too? And there was some ketchup pack or Hollywood blood pack or whatever. And you know, a month later, his ear's totally fine. Yeah, all these guys get shot in the head, and it's like not a big problem. So this guy gets shot in the head, and he's like, I don't know about you, if I was somewhere, and all of a sudden the shots start firing out, and all of a sudden I get shot in the head, and blood's just pouring down. Pretty much the last thing I would think to do is to take a selfie and post it on X. But this guy did.
On est censé croire que cet homme est une victime touchée à la tête.
I got hit in the head. I'm bleeding. I've lost blood.
Mais assez en forme pour faire un beau selfie. Et visiblement, il adore être médiatisé. Toujours au bon endroit, au bon moment.
Wounded Arsen Ostrovsky, a survivor of the October 7 massacre in Israel.
I survived October 7th.
J'ai fait des recherches et il est pas là par accident. C'est son métier.
It's important to use visuals in order to try and get a point across. I'll give an example here.
Arsène est un ingénieur de narratif.
Every action must have a goal. It must have a compelling story to tell.
Il le dit lui-même, ses actions ont un but précis.
Fight anti-Semitism, to fight this bloodthirsty, ravaging hatred. That's why I'm here.
Le message doit être émotionnel et surtout pas ennuyeux.
You don't want to be dull and boring. No one's going to read that.
Effectivement, avec sa mise en scène, on s'ennuie pas. La veille, on prépare le terrain avec Erika, le 13 décembre.
Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people.
Une opération sous faux drapeau, c'est quand on te dit qui regarder, quoi ressentir et quoi penser.
How could you hate the Jewish people?
Avant même que t'aies le temps de réfléchir.
Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism.
Pour conditionner émotionnellement le spectateur, faire monter la tension. Le 14, attaque terroriste, le choc, l'urgence morale.
We do not sit by and let these killers kill us.
Everything must change from today.
Et on propose de nouvelles lois pour un changement radical.
Laws need to be passed.
Au nom de la sécurité, on vous enlève encore des libertés.
Anti-Semitism is the biggest threat.
Tout a été orchestré, comme d'habitude.
Actually, you know, I might have to make a new intro video here. And it'll be Jeff and Elios. He's a lot easier to, well, I was going to say to control than Apples, but actually that's not true. You can't control him. He's an anarchist kid, but he seems to like go with me now. See, I told you, like, it's like I live in a different reality now, where my son just wants to be with me all the time. He didn't before. Like, he didn't hate me, but he just didn't really want to be with me all day or anything. But now, all the time. It's so awesome. So then the Israeli propagandist guy, there's a photo of him in the hospital afterwards. Looks totally fine. It's amazing. These people are immune to headshots. It's just totally fine. It just looks normal. He's eating a donut, posing for a photo op with some Jewish lawyer guy, of course. And there's been lots of... You know, one of the things I said before, I said this a few months ago. I said we're now at the time and place where you don't know if there's anything you can trust anymore. Because with the AI, it can make a video that looks as real as can be now. And with this one, there was all kinds of stuff that people were posting. Like, for example, here's one. A bunch of people were saying they did like an image search, and it's actually this guy, David Cohen. Must have been another coincidence. And he was in the IDF, and he's supposedly the guy that shot these people. And it was all weird, like, everything you see about it, none of it makes any sense, which is totally normal for these sort of things. Could that guy have been IDF, Mossad? Absolutely possible. Like, that's almost always the case. But I don't know if that's true or not. And then there was one that was really circulating a lot with people saying someone took a photo of him getting the makeup put on with all the blood. But that seems like too obvious. Like, if that were to happen, you would think they would do it somewhere where someone couldn't take a photo. So a lot of people are saying it's AI. It's really, you can't tell anymore. That's my whole point. It's almost why it's kind of pointless to even look at any of this stuff anymore, because you really can't tell. But there's one thing that I can tell, that this is all a Mossad operation, clearly. Now, am I 100% sure? Do I have all the evidence and proof? Not exactly. But when you've seen this dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and it always turns out to be the same people, you know, you can just kind of, it's called just being smart. It's like, okay, if something happens dozens of times, it's always the same thing, and then you see the same thing again, and it has all the hallmarks of all the usual stuff. You know, a smart person would go, well, that's probably the same as what they always do. And that's what they always do. It's interesting, too, because you can actually go on AI like Grok, which is totally under the control of Mossad, Israel, Jews, Masons, whatever all these different names, globalists, whatever you want to call them. And I actually went and asked it, because I was like, okay, let's see how good AI is it, if it can figure this stuff out or not, or if it's totally controlled. And of course I went on Grok, which is like one of the most controlled. But I did ask, is there any indication that Israel or Mossad were involved in the Bondi Beach terror attack? Using their language, the terror attack. And it thought for 28 seconds, said, nope, there's no credible evidence or indication from official investigations, okay, law enforcement, or mainstream media reporting that Israel or Mossad were involved. Well, yeah, I know that all the Israel-controlled things didn't report on that. And then it gives a few key facts, which aren't even really facts. And then it says, claims suggesting Israel or Mossad orchestration, example is a false flag operation, originate from conspiracy theorists, including David Icke, who'll be appearing at Anarchapulco in his recent video, and have spread online in fringe communities, Iranian state media spins, and some social media misinformation. These allegations are unsubstantiated and have been flagged as part of broader racist, anti-Semitic, or false narratives proliferating after the attack. Israel and Mossad are involved only in a supportive capacity. They're just here to support. Mossad has joined the Australian investigation, likely due to the targeting of a Jewish event. Yeah. Always approach conspiracy claims critically, especially on sensitive topics like this, by prioritizing verified reporting from authorities and reputable mainstream media outlets. No thanks. Getting everything better here. Got the accommodations for the goats and the sheep a lot better here. It's still nothing like what I want, but a lot better. Everything's just getting better. And now that we're here, like living here, we're definitely going to get this all upgraded. But of course, with any sort of investigation, any sort of crime, you could say, the first question to always ask, and this is like age-old knowledge, is qui bono? Who benefits? Well, can I give you a guess? Who benefits from this one?
Looking at the shooting in Australia, we always have to ask ourselves, who benefits? I can tell you that it's showing the Muslim world. They're trying so hard to push this Muslim extremist narrative when the one hero that jumped on the shooter with no regards for his personal safety was in fact a Muslim man named Ahmed. Anyways, just after the shooting happened, as if it was time, you got the Israel Prime Minister blaming Iran to give himself an excuse to complete his carnage of the Middle East. This guy is now asking for harsher sanctions actions against anti-Semitism while still conducting a genocide that we're all witnessing in high definition. It's pretty unreal if you think about it. Now let's go back in time for a second and look at 9/11. Do you think the Muslim world benefited from these attacks? The whole place is torn apart. Even the Israeli Prime Minister said that they benefited the most from 9/11. And what do we get? More surveillance, more division, and more troubles at the airport. In the end, the only people who benefit from terror attacks are the demonic elite that plans them and couldn't give a damn about race or religion. They use race and religion to keep us divided while slowly putting us into this AI surveillance system. I'm sorry, but we're not falling for this one.
Like, they do this so much that that just has to be like a default thing to actually look at it and go and assume that's what it is. It's Israel, Mossad sort of operation, Masons, Jesuits, Knights Templar, all those sort of people. Jews, not all Jews, but many.
Not all, but many.
It's even like so well known in Ausjailia that even the police came out and said all these anti-Semitic attacks are all actually being done by hired people on the behalf of basically Israel.
Is it anti-Semitic to point a finger at the one settler colonial state that benefits from anti-Semitism, that justifies its existence on the proliferation of global anti-Semitism?
That is a dangerous question to be asking, my friend. That's, I would say, the kind of question that can get you taken off the internet for asking, which makes it all the more important to ask it. Now, earlier this year, CBS News, before it was taken over by the Ellistons and Barry Weiss, reported that the Australian police were saying that these string of seemingly anti-Semitic terrorist incidents were really a, quote, con job to sow chaos. They say that authorities in January made the unusual claim that none of the 12 they had arrested in relation to the spate of crimes in Australia's largest cities, Sydney and Melbourne, were driven by anti-Semitic ideology and were instead criminals for hire. And who could perhaps be hiring these guys? This is an article from The Guardian from 2017, and they reported that an Israeli teenager was charged with making more than 2,000 hoax bomb threats to schools, Jewish centers, hospitals, and airlines in 5 different countries, alleged to have been behind 591 bomb threats against schools in Australia, Victoria police have confirmed. The 18-year-old is alleged to have robocalled schools in Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales, and the Australian Capital Territory in January of 2016. This is real, undisputed reporting that Israelis are maybe potentially pulling a little bit of a Jussie Smollett, if I may. The BBC also reported earlier this year that Australia's federal police have said that they are investigating whether overseas actors or individuals are paying local criminals to carry out anti-Semitic crimes in the country. And they say that there has been a spate of such incidents in recent months, the latest of which saw a childcare center in Sydney set alight and sprayed with anti-Jewish graffiti. Luckily, no one was injured in that particular incident.
I mean, Mossad's tagline, their whole reason for being, is through deceit, thou shalt do war. So we're talking about people who went on 60 Minutes and said they do all these things.
We're the directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors. The world is our stage.
Mossad says all of its stuff is deception and lies to do war against basically Goyim, which is like non-Jewish people. And even Benjamin Milkowski from Poland, who calls himself Benjamin Netanyahu, said this decades ago, how that they do all these false flag events.
Get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians. You have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains and tell them there's a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
Now, again, with that video, you have to be so careful with everything nowadays, right? Like, any of that stuff could be so easily fake now. So I went to the the most like lying AI there is out there, Grok. You know, just to be even more fair with this, right? Like, hey, if Grok says it's real or fake, then, you know, that means something because it's covering actually for all of Israel's stuff. So I went on Grok. Is that a real video of Netanyahu, of Milkowski? It's interesting how it words it. Because it says, no, this isn't a real video in the sense implied by the post and its overlays. So did you get that? Like, right off the bat, it says it's not a real video in quotes. In the sense that, with the overlays kind of said that Netanyahu said in 2003 that this is how false flags and brainwashing are done. But it does go on to say, although the footage itself is authentic, it's a genuine clip of Benjamin Netanyahu from a 2003 interview featured in Oliver Stone's HBO documentary, Persona non grata. However, the video is shared on X has been misleadingly edited and presented. It includes persistent overlaid text claiming that he was talking about false flags, and the subtitles transcribe Netanyahu describing how to radicalize someone into committing terrorism, example, blowing up a bus or building, by indoctrinating them with a higher cause that overrides normal morality. In the original context, Netanyahu is explaining what he reviews as the process of brainwashing and motivating Palestinian suicide bombers terrorists. Okay, but he did say that, so he's very aware of how you do these false flag events, which of course he would be. Israel has been behind most of them. In fact, the whole Israel, the whole Zionist, even a lot of the Jew stuff is all indoctrination.
You have to brainwash all the time, because this is the only way to continue Zionism. People say to me, why don't you explain to the Jews in the United States what is exactly behind your thinking? I explain. But I'm laughing because the right word for it, you have to brainwash all the time. You have to say, to explain it, to live it, to cope with it. My husband says to me, why do you speak to your children all the time about Zionism, pioneers in Judea and Samaria, settling, and all my family are settlers here. Because this is the only way to continue Zionism. I want to have for the Jewish nation the promised land from the Bible, from the Euphrates
yes.
to the Nile. And I'm sure it will be.
And what about southern Lebanon?
If it is part of it, all of it, even parts of Syria, part of Iraq, part of Iran. It's huge.
You think you have any way of convincing people that that would be a good idea?
I convince many. Many people believe in it. I don't see anything anything extreme in my approach. It's the basic Jewish approach.
And I think Israel just brought over a ton of like Catholic or Christian church people to Israel to indoctrinate them, which they've been doing for a long time.
Israel, their people, the Jews, are better than all of us. They're better than all of us. And you need to accept that. This is where, with the kids, where we start our indoctrination. I know that's a strong word to use, indoctrination, that it it gets such a bad reputation, but that's where it starts. That's where it started with me. When I was a child, that I was taught about the support that the church owes to Israel.
So all your loose change that you have from home, you bring that change to school. Everything that we get, we will actually cash it in and make a check out to the Fellowship for Christians and Jews.
And anybody that's ever been to our church would know there's a spiritual obligation of a Christian to Israel.
God gave a promise in Genesis chapter 12, and I'm going to bless all of those that bless you.
And I'm going to curse all of them that curse you. Every nation that has blessed Israel, God has blessed them. And every nation that has opposed Israel, God has been in opposition to them. And I'm going to stand up for Israel. And if that offends you, you're in the wrong church this morning.
Yeah, it's all getting quite tiring. The Zionist cycle. Fake a major attack. Gain people's sympathy through exaggerated statistics. Compare events to past atrocities like the Holocaust, 9/11, both done by or lied about by Israel. Use this to justify an invasion of the enemy. Total annihilation of innocent enemy. Truth starts to come out. Anti-Semitism rises. So then you fake a major attack and start again. That's what's been going on for decades. So yeah, there's this anti-Semitic attack that happened in Ausjailia. Oh, hang on. Let's go to Wolf Litzer in the Situation Room. What's going on, Wolf? Yes, Jeff, we just have a press conference coming out from the Prime Minister of Australia.
Australia, we have serious challenges to solve, and we need serious people to solve them. I promise. Unfortunately, Tony Abbott is not the least bit interested in fixing anything. He's only interested in two things: making Australians afraid of it and telling them who's to blame for it.
Yeah, they don't even write new scripts for all these things. The same thing that they do in Hollywood, they do in their politics. And politics is just Hollywood for ugly people. It's incredible how, and no one sees a lot of this stuff, but I do, and you probably are starting to. If not, you're already seeing or know this as well. You get used to it. I don't even see the news anymore. All I see is false flag, psyop, bullshit. And meanwhile, while all that was happening, it was like a huge Jewish event at the White House again. And this time it's Mark Levin saying how Trump is the first Jewish president. And he goes, it's true, because it is true.
And I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged. And we found out, and you see that happening. But,
and you are the greatest president.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you.
And then Trump went on to say how they're not doing enough to serve all of the bribes and the influence of those bribes and the threats from the Israeli government.
As President of the United States, I will always support Jewish Americans, and I will always be a friend and a champion to the Jewish people. I have been. And I will say, you know, if you go back 10, 12, 15 years ago at the most, the strongest lobby in Washington was the Jewish lobby. It was Israel. That's no longer true. You have to be very careful. You have a Congress in particular which is becoming anti-Semitic. You have AOC +3. You have those people, Ilhan Omar, she hates Jewish people. And you have to be very careful because there's been a big change. You know, if you go back 15 years ago, I'm not Jewish, but my father was very friendly with many, many Jewish people, was honored by Federation. I would go with him to Federation of Jewish Philanthropies and many other things. And we grew up respecting and loving Jewish people. You know, you don't even think about it. In Brooklyn and Queens mostly. My father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country is the Jewish lobby. It's the Israeli lobby. It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in your way. You have a lot of people that don't want to help Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that don't like Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that, in a way, I think, Mike, we could say it, right? You're there. You're doing an amazing job, Mike Lawler. They hate Israel.
That's interesting. Remember when he was running again for the president position on the mainstream media debates? And everyone was telling me, oh, Jeff, you're so wrong on Trump. Which was the easiest thing ever to be right on because he'd already done that. He already had lied the first time he was president and didn't do any of the things he said he was going to do. So it was very easy. But remember, this is him, and there were so many people. You know, Jeff Trump, look, you can't buy him out. He just said you can't buy him out. It's like, yeah.
Let me talk quiet.
How tough
a lot of times, that's all of his donors and special interests out there. So that's what it is. That's what. And by the way, let me just tell you, we needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets for the? I'm talking about to the television audience. Donors, special interests, the people that are putting up the money. So it is. The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. And I'm the only one up here that can say that.
Well, let's see how that's turning out.
Miriam Adelsten, do you want to come up, Miriam? Come up here, Miriam. Miriam gave my campaign, indirectly and directly, $250 million. She was number one. When somebody can give you $250 million, I think that we should give her the opportunity to say hello. And Miriam, make it quick, because $250 million is not what it used to be. Okay? Hello, darling. Come in. Incredible woman with a great husband, a man that loved Israel.
Second. Yeah.
She said, think about it. I'll give you another $250 million.
I will give.
But
yeah, so there he is bragging. He made $250 million because, you know, he can't be bought out. And so, you know, he's got to like let her talk and stuff and let him know what to do. And even said soon after that, he said he doesn't normally read his speeches from a teleprompter. But Israel gives him so much of it, like pages and pages of it, he can't memorize it all.
This is the first time that I've ever brought up notes to make a speech for. We call them the Christmas dinners. I call them the Christmas Hanukkah dinners, if that's okay. I hope you don't mind. But I call them New Year's dinners too. But I've made about 20 of them so far. I never had any others. I brought this up. You know why? I've done so much for Israel that I have to read. Look at it, I got like pages.
You know, I said I wasn't going to do it too much anymore, but I got to do at least one. I told her so.
I told you so.
And here's Jordan Maxwell talking about basically how this world operates, and it's as right today as it was back then in general.
I think at one time or another we've all questioned as to whether all that we see and are experiencing in our world has some sort of a rational plan behind it. Because we understand now that both the Republican and the Democratic Party in our country are basically run by the same people. The same money finances both sides. We now know, of course, through the work of many historians who have spent their life working on research to show us that both sides of world conflicts have always been financed by the same people. And as I've said before, there seems to be a method to the madness going on in the world. We know, of course, that we cannot depend on our leaders. Our leaders are misleaders. There is a science that they're following. They have their own agenda, and it doesn't include you. Conflicts require money and cooperation. World conflicts require world banks, International Monetary Fund. Professional groups all have fraternal orders, doctors, attorneys, etc., have their own specific fraternal orders. In the banking world, it is the same way. They have a fraternal order. In politics, there is a fraternal order. However, we're not supposed to know anything about that because that's not our business. That fraternal order in politics and banking has been known for many years by those in the inside. It has been referred to by different names, different times, in different countries. The best overall name that we can give to this fraternal order, which is running our country, politics, monetary, is Freemasonry.
Of course, it's not just the Freemasons, which have like a building in almost every city on earth, by the way. Just go look at your town. You probably have more than one. It's incredible how they've kept it so hidden what they're doing. But it's not just them, it's like all these other groups as well. The Jesuits, Knights Templar, the Jews, not all, but many.
Not all, but many.
All right, we got the big dogs out today. Haven't seen apples yet. Got Luna and Cielo out here checking. See if they smell any matzo balls or anything. But it's not even just them. It's actually this consciousness field. This is what I've been talking about for the last 3 weeks worth of videos. That basically has infected this earth for tens of thousands of years. And that's really what's actually behind all of this. And if what Christoph Melchizedek says is true, they're going to lose a lot of their power in the next few years, and actually all their power in the next 7 years. Like, it's all going to be going away. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. This is the most incredible 3D video game ever. And of course, even things like this Bondi event, it has many different agendas, obviously. A big one is to bring in more anti-Semitism type stuff, which they're doing big time. Like huge. Give a justification for them to attack people who had nothing to do with it, which they always do. And it's also to distract from all the things they actually are doing, which are like super bad. Like, for example, here's another thing that Trump just announced, that he was talking about 6G is coming. You know how we have 5G now, which is a kill system. But he's trying to rush forward 6G as quick as possible. And he even says here that, it'll help us to even see even deeper under your skin.
So we're into 6G now. I just 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how perfect it is? I like the cameras the old days. So they just had a nice feature. Now they cover every little. Let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. You're not gonna. But I tell you, it's the 6 is coming, huh?
Yeah, they're rushing ahead with all that stuff. And it's insane. They've actually fooled so many people into thinking like Trump's like this good guy while they do all these things. And, rushing out the 6G now. The 5G was bad enough. The 6G, I don't know how, like the Internet of Body stuff, it'll probably connect to all the nanotech. It'll pretty much take control of everyone on Earth. Unless Christoph manages to stop it in time, which I think he might. And I think he might be right that he's actually doing these things. I've seen enough actual lived experience with him that I'm like, yeah, I think he's somehow figured it all out and figured out how to like get rid of it. But it is I've said this for a while. There's going to be a point where I'm going to have to stop doing these videos because things are going to be so bad, no one's going to be laughing about anything. And we're getting closer and closer to that. And it's not easy for me, the same as it's not easy for anyone. Like even thinking about what happens if they make it so I need this digital ID to travel internationally, for example. So like a vaccine card, basically. Now, of course, I would never take an injection to do anything. That so far has been my line. But if you think about it, I'm a anarcho-capitalist. I don't believe any of these countries are legitimate. But I have a passport. And want to guess? It's a biometric passport. Almost every passport on Earth is now. In the US, it's been biometric for almost 20 years. So if you have a passport, you already have a biometric ID. Now, when they roll out this sort of all-encompassing ID that's biometric and begin connecting it with the AI to all of your stuff, your bank accounts, your social media, things can and will get incredibly tyrannical. And so I'm going to have to, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I was thinking about this because Mexico is actually coming out because it has a Jewish president, of course. They're trying to rush through this digital ID for Mexicans, and I think residents, that it's called a CURP. It's similar to a socialist insecurity number in the US. It's like a number you kind of need to work and stuff like that as a slave. And they're trying to rush it through where by February or April, you are going to have this biometric number, or you won't be able to hardly do anything in Mexico, including possibly traveling inside, like leaving or coming into Mexico. Now, of course, I can use different passports. This is a lot of the stuff that I've been setting up for a long time for this very reason. And this is a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about at the Dollar Vigilante Summit coming up in February after Anarchapulco, by the way. But is it easy? Like, I'll have to make a decision at some point if I'm willing to get this digital ID to travel, which, everyone's going to have their own lines. Some won't cross certain lines. I know some people won't even get a passport. But, if I do this, I might not ever be able to really travel again. But I'll have to make that choice probably fairly soon in one way or another. But in many ways, as far as the biometrics go, everyone's already got it. Like, we've already seen people go into to Walmart and he forgot his card or something, and they knew who he was just by looking at him.
Hey, how does Walmart know what I'm buying in cash? I got an email from them this afternoon that says, hey, can you rate this product that you purchased recently? And I did purchase that product recently from Walmart. I bought it in cash, right? I walked to the electronics section and bought a USB charging cable with cash and then walked out. And I know that the first, you've already started typing. It's the Walmart app on your phone, you moron. That is a fair assumption. I do not have the Walmart app on my phone. I have never had the Walmart app on my phone. And further, I did not have my phone with me on this trip. Here's how I know I didn't have my phone with me on this trip. I remember specifically talking to the employee in the back of the electronics section and trying to explain specifically which USB connector I was looking for. And I couldn't explain it well. And so I tried to pull my phone out to show the gentleman what I was looking for, and I didn't have my phone on me. And so I had to continue my game of terrible charades and torture this poor guy until he finally was like, well, look, here's what we've got. And then I was able to find what I needed. But the point being, my phone was not on my person. I don't think I even had my headphones on my person. I didn't have any electronic devices on me. So how does Walmart know what I purchased in cash?
And this has happened all over the place now. So basically, if you've been outside in public for the last few years, they've got all of your biometric. They've got your eyes. These cameras are super high scanners now. If you've got like a bank app, it's probably already asked you to like look into the camera. Come closer, right? That's biometric. If someone hasn't done any of those things so far, and they haven't been out in public, they're one of the few people on earth who hasn't actually been databased yet into a Palantir type system. But we're going to have to all make choices, including myself. And that might be a really tough choice. Like, I was thinking about it. When I thought about all the places I took my daughter this year, and it was like so many. Like, it's got to be more than 20 countries on 3 different continents. And she's seen so many things. And the Egypt trip, she said, and my wife said, was the best trip of their life. And I would say so too. But I'm so glad I did that this year, because I might have to make a hard choice next year whether I'm willing to do this or not. And I'm going to have to like meditate on it, think about it. And there's going to be so many variables too. Like, for example, here in Mexico, if they did do the digital ID, but then they started to force some stuff on people based on the biometric stuff, the people here will kill everyone in the government. Like, that's still the case. So there's going to be things like that. Then there's, can Christoph get their systems offline in time before they can really put in all these systems? There's so many variables, like so many. Like this is a very difficult time to be alive in this matrix and to try to figure out how to survive. Because things are going to get crazy. But one thing's for sure, all the things Trump said he was going to do, now he's bringing the 6G, he's bringing the AI vaccines, he's put in more debt than any other president in history again after the last time. He held the record the last time as well after saying he's going to balance the budget. If there's one thing at least that's clear, it's that Trump is not what he said he was, which is what I've been saying all along, but I did receive a lot of flack for it. But a lot of people believe Trump's promises, and hey, that looks pretty good. Trump's actual presidency, it's Rabbi Shmuley. And actually there's been a whole bunch of other things happening just since I left Egypt. It's incredible. It's like, I think people are going to start accusing me of being with Mossad or something, and like I requested, they held off all their stuff while I went on this trip to Egypt, because that's exactly how it played out. But I can guarantee you I'm not getting any money from Mossad. I never will. But yeah, there's actually been so many things happening now. So this video is actually going to be fairly long. And I think a lot of people are going to be glad it's kind of like back to normal, not so much of the Egypt stuff. But I wanted to just show people, I was in these amazing locations every day doing amazing things. So I thought I'd shoot a video for free and, let you know some of this stuff, which I think is really important. But some people probably didn't care. They were like, give us the doom porn stuff with all the actual super hope stuff as well, which I can do both at the same time. But yeah, there's been lots of like weird stuff happening, just weird. Like for example, Rob Reiner, who was like meathead in All in the Family, like in what seems like 1,000 years ago to me. But I do remember seeing that show when I was like a baby, basically. And I think he was like super pro-Israel. Everything I saw him post online, I was like throwing up. I was vomiting. Like this guy is like just human garbage, right? But I found it very interesting that he was found dead along with his wife, and the person accused of doing it is like his son, which is quite interesting. Like, I can't imagine what you would have to do to your son that he would slaughter you. I'm gonna guess something pretty serious, actually. Some people deal with family traumas by healing them. Some of them just shoot their parents. And that looks like what happened, but in like a sort of a bizarre thing, because that's such a rare event to hear, that a son killed his parents. Like that does not happen very often.
See, as a baby, Rob was routinely beaten by his father, Carl. Rob believes that this early physical abuse had a profound effect on him as an adult and led to the horrible failure of Ghosts of Mississippi.
I'm going to go for North on that one. Just curious.
Exactly. What possibly could explain North?
I helped him out.
On a typical night, Carl would slip into Rob's bed,
Jesus,
roll him over, swab him down, and say something like, I'm thinking about hiring Maury Amsterdam to play Buddy Sorrell. What do you think? Well, the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show changed things dramatically. Carl started inviting many of his famous friends to son. And that list includes some of the greats in comedy. Paul Lynde. Dom DeLuise. Rip Taylor. Danny Kaye. Charles Nelson Riley and Rock Hudson, whom I frankly don't think was that funny.
But almost on the same day, another guy it happened to. Jubilant Sykes, who I think is an opera singer or something, he's fairly well known, was also killed by his son. That's interesting. And again, you have to kind of wonder, what did you do to your kid? Like, seriously. Like, I see a lot of people post, so that's terrible. What kind of a son would kill his parents? Like, well, you know, you don't know, right? It's amazing how people just jump to conclusions and things so fast. Like, my first question would be to the kid, what'd your parents do, man? Like, you just slaughtered them. Like, what did they do? I'm gonna guess something kind of horrible, right? A lot of these Hollywood people, that's what they do. So, you know, you can kind of look at that and go, hey, that's kind of good. Or you could just say, this is the level of the apocalypse we're at now, where these sort of things are going to happen more and more and more. It's just going to get more and more bizarre. It's such an incredible time. I don't even know how to keep up with it. I was up at 4 this morning, 3 actually. And I'm just trying to look into everything. I'm like, man, because I hadn't really paid attention for weeks. Although I kind of did, because I had to write a huge piece for the Dollar Vigilante newsletter. The entire year in review while I'm going to all these temples all day long in Egypt. So I kind of had to do all that and kind of go back in the matrix and look at it all. But then since then, oh, and by the way, I put in all the year in review in our December issue, and in our December dispatch, we have 2 issues a month. One's called the issue, one's called the dispatch. They're basically both the same thing. We just found we had so much to write, we couldn't keep it to just 1 month. I'm going to be doing all my 2026 predictions in the next dispatch coming out on December 30th. And some of those predictions are actually basically channeled from source. But even without source, in the past, I've been so right on so many things. Like as one example, my predictions last year, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure, but I know around that time I was saying this a lot. I was saying I would not be surprised if gold, silver, and precious metal stocks outperform crypto in the next year. And that seemed insane at the time because gold was still down around 2,000, silver was around 25. No one was talking about it. Everyone's getting all whipped up about the cryptos. They're going to have this huge bull run. Well, it turned out over the last year, Bitcoin's actually down about 10% over the last year. Gold's more than doubled. Silver, I think's tripled or close to it. It's nearly like $70 now. So anyway, you might want to subscribe to our newsletter because I'll be giving all the predictions for 2026 coming up on December 30th. So just go to dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. That's just one of many things I do. I don't know how I'm doing all this stuff. Definitely the Tesla machine helps a ton. But actually, I was trying to get caught up on what was going on, so I watched one of Max Egan's latest video about the Bondi shooting. Of course, Max is from Ausjailia. He's very familiar with a lot of their false flags, the Port Arthur, and there's so many of them. And so if you want more detailed info, look into Max's latest video. It's up on vigilante.tv. But in that video, he also mentioned this portal that had been opened in Detroit. And here's what he included in his video.
Giant portal for the local principalities. Now, if you saw my last video, you know about the stones and what I mentioned about the rituals. Look what it's called. Transcending. Come on, guys. Really? If you can't, I don't even, do I have to explain this? Now, I actually came here before and I prayed standing here. I'm going to show you. Right there. And you know what happened? My feet started burning when I saw, because I was praying against this thing. But look, watch this. Look at this. Look. Look at these hands. Fallen ones.
And that's all the stuff I've been talking about. They're trying to bring in their Antichrist, all that kind of stuff, and it's all in plain sight. It's amazing how obvious a lot of this stuff is. But they keep putting these things up all over the place now. It's an incredible time. We're right near the end of this, basically this apocalypse in the Matrix. It could go either way at this point. And you're going to have to be really smart to get through the next few years. Because they just keep bringing stuff in. Like another thing I found out about from Max Egan's video is a new thing being put through in the European Union called chat control. The EU's plan to read your messages, all of them. The core principle of the legislation are clear. Detection software would be embedded in the messaging app or the operating system to scan chat content and automatically forward any material flagged as prohibited to law enforcement agencies. So that's interesting, isn't it? I have some bad news for you. That's already been done. It's been done for a long time. They've had the CIA, Mossad type groups have had these backdoors in Cisco's stuff for like decades. But if you just think about it, what operating system are you using right now? Is it the Apple with the bite taken out of it from the Garden of Eden that's first sold for $666.66? Do you think they might be reading your messages? Or is it Killgate? Do you have Microsoft Windows? Killgate's software, is that where you have all your stuff? Well, would you be surprised if they're already taking all the information? Not at all. Or maybe you're on X, Elon Musk, the technocrat who wants to bring in the AI dystopia with Palantir. Do you think they might be already? All they're doing is letting you know that they're going to like say it's legal now. But they're already doing it.
We will shine a light on you that thanks to Google and SEO will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented. Again, thanks to Google and SEO.
And just so you know, there's like, if you want to be like smart, this is all the stuff we write about in the Dollar Vigilante, the Crypto Vigilante. In the Dollar Vigilante, we have stuff all the time. How to install Linux on your computer, how to put a Graphene OS on your phone, all these sorts of things. And also the Crypto Vigilante has a bunch of that as well. So, you know, another reason, like all these things I do, I saw this coming. I had no idea. Like, I mean, no idea. If you showed me this video 10 years ago, you said, Jeff, that's you 10 years in the future, and all the stuff I was talking about, I'd go, well, that's impossible. There's no way that could, they tried to inject everyone on Earth with poison and no one cared and no one knew they were trying to do that. They put nanotech in them and it's the Jews. Not all.
But many.
If I would have saw this, including everything else, the demonic portals, I would have said, that's insane. That's like a acid fever dream or something. And maybe it is, because this is beyond insane, all this stuff now. But you know, when you're at the ranch, it's all, it goes, who's driving? No puedo. Vete rápido. Oh, he wants me to get in. Hang on. Okay, I'll get in. He wants to be with me all the time now. I'm so happy about that. All right, so we're gonna go for, he's driving. See, all this stuff I don't really care. I'd rather be doing this, and I am. Whoa. Woo. All right. Well, thank you for the ride, Elios. Gracias. Dile de nada.
De nada, de nada.
Un beso. Un beso. Oh, I'm telling you, like, my reality has changed with my son. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, how it's just going to be, like, this is going to be really, really, really hard. And you're going to have to make the right decisions. And if you don't, you might end up in the mainframe for like 52,000 years, which is what Max Egan's been talking about and Christoph says is happening. They're all speaking in Anarchapulco, by the way.
Déjalo que grabe.
¿Qué quieres? ¿Qué quieres?
Vámonos.
¿Dónde?
Allá.
Tengo que terminar mi video.
Deja que termine el video y nos acompaña. Mira, deja abierta la puerta. Se van a subir los perros. Ciérrale, vente. Vamos a cerrar la puerta.
Espérame, yo voy a terminar. Yo voy a terminar.
Ya va a terminar. Deja que termine ya. Ven, vamos a ver.
Okay, yo voy contigo. Okay, vamos. So you won't even let me be away from it anymore. It's incredible. Maybe we'll get a little house tour from them. I wasn't going to go inside too much. There's still a lot of stuff being finished in here. But our whole upstairs is totally done. And this living room should be done in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, pretty happy to be getting this done. 6 years we've been working on this. And it's still not done, as you can see. The floor is going in the next week. Lots of stuff in process here. But they got the pool starting to fill up. They'll be putting the flooring out here in the next week as well. So we're like a couple of weeks from this whole bottom area being done as well. The whole top area is done now. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be super hard to, and I get it. Like, I've seen a few people posting things. Like, I posted one video about how life's a 3D video game. And one guy posted, well, it is if you're rich. And I know what I know what he's saying, right? And it's actually, he shouldn't think that way at all. When you get into the victim mentality, you're going to be a victim for your entire life. So don't think that way. Just actually listen to what I said and actually take that information and do the work. And you can be as abundant as you want. But it's not going to be easy for the next few years. And everything's coming. Like, the AI is going to take everyone's jobs. The inflation's going crazy. Like, here's a McDonald's commercial from the 80s compared to today.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
I'd like a Big Mac value pack. Make it 2, please. Hey, what's that? It's the new value pack. See? You get a large Coke, a Big Mac, and a supersized fry with 30% more. All for just $2.59.
Okay, so let's order this exact same thing today in 2025, starting with 2 Big Macs, 2 large fries, and 2 large Cokes. Your total comes to $26.46 without taxes. I cannot believe people still actually eat this crap.
And should I remind you that that's still going up all the time? The inflation continues to rise, the price increases, and you're seeing that in things like silver, which is at a massive new all-time high right now. It's almost $70 now. And here's silver holders watching the Federal Reserve cut interest rates into rising inflation. Yeah, so this is going to get wild. I saw something from Benjamin Milkowski that also just came out recently, and he basically said, we brought you into this world and we can take you out.
I said, Mike, that we are fighting today the battle that the Maccabees fought. They fought for the survival of the Jewish people and the Jewish faith against an enemy that wanted to extinguish us, wipe us out from the face of the earth. We were fighting our battle, but we were also fighting the battle of civilization. Because our civilization is based on the Judeo-Christian tradition. And if the Maccabees had failed, there'd be no Judaism, there would be no Judeo-Christian civilization. There would be no Maccabees. There would be no United States, there wouldn't be the civilization of freedom, the respect for our common traditions, our common values. All of that would not happen if it weren't for those 5 brave brothers. They actually made the whole difference. So that spirit animates these brave soldiers that are here today and their comrades who are fighting in Gaza or in Lebanon or in Iran, wherever is necessary to not only preserve the Jewish nation and the Jewish state, but preserve civilization against the barbarians. The barbarians are out there. They did a horrible thing to us on October 7th. They'll never do it again. But they're doing it against Jews in Sydney and Jews elsewhere in America and elsewhere. This is our common battle against the barbarians. We have won it here, we're winning it here, we'll win it everywhere. Chag Sameach, Chag Chanukah Sameach Likulchem. Toda rabba lachem. Toda rabba.
So he's referring to how the Jews made the U.S., which, you know, in many ways because it's also the Freemasons. They're all the same thing, basically. They're different little names for the different things. But yeah, the Masons were massively involved. All the founding fathers were Masons. And, the Jews, but basically the central banksters, the Rothschilds, they were involved in building most of the world as we know it today. And what that was a threat. That if you don't let them continue to do all the things that they want to do, which is like kill all the people on earth and enslave them all, that they're going to pull the plug because they control so much.
The United States have no future. That's it. There's no other way of explaining it. Edom, which is America, is going to be destroyed. There's a lot of prophecies, if you want to go just for two of them to see. One of them is in the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, and the other one is in the book of Jeremiah 49. You'll see the destruction of Edom. So really, the United States of America is destined to crash miserably. What matters is that the fact is that the land of Edom, the United States, is going to be destroyed, and it's going to start with economy, and then it's going to lead after that to many other things. At the end of the day, Hashem is the one who's going to control everything, and it doesn't matter who he's going to put at the head of the United States to bring it down. It doesn't matter.
And that might actually happen. And actually it's going to collapse anyway. It's going to collapse even based on the stuff Christoph's doing. So prepare for absolutely anything and everything. It is going to be the wildest time in the years ahead. I don't know how much longer I can do these videos. For numerous reasons. I don't know how much longer I'll even be alive. like this is going to get insane. But that said, if you can get through the next few years, if Christoph's right, and you better hope he's right, because I don't see any other hope out there right now. And I think he is right, by the way. I've seen incredible things. I've literally seen incredible things with him. I'm like, this guy is not a normal person. And he says, over the next few years, all of this stuff's going to start fading. But it's also going to mean everything's going to collapse because it's all based on all these old systems of control and hierarchy and, all that kind of stuff. Violence and stuff like that. So it's all going to collapse. So, you don't have much time left to try to get yourself into a position that you want to get into. It might just be a few months. It might be, who knows, a year. I don't know. But you really got to start working. Like, for example, if you want to have more capital to be able to do things that you want to do for whatever reason, and you don't have a lot right now, you really need to get on it ASAP. And actually, Anarchapulco is doing a special end-of-the-year 2-day virtual summit on it called Practical Wealth for the Nonconformist series. Gonna have a bunch of great speakers on there. Of course, I'll be on there. I'll be talking about all these sort of things. Got Vit Jalika, the president of Liberland. Ernie Hancock, who's building his own community. Tim Pichot, the Liberty Advisor. Raphael Laverde, of course, of the Crypto Vigilante. Paul Pui of Edge Wallet. Christopher Gronsky of Destination Freedom. He can tell you how to, you don't have to pay taxes, and it's all legit. And even if you do have a fair amount of capital, you might want to, you definitely would want to get on something like that as well, and just figure out how to keep that capital. And that's going to be things like privacy coins, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be some of the only ways to keep your capital outside of all these systems before they collapse in the next few years. So even if you don't have much capital, or if you've got a bunch but you want to make sure you don't lose it all, highly recommend you make it your New Year's resolution this year to get on the Anarchapulco Nonconformist series, Practical Wealth. And you can just go to anarchapulco.com/practical wealth for that. And of course, you can watch it on your own time. It's going to be 2 full days of all these incredible speakers talking about all these strategies on how to survive all this stuff and keep the capital you have and grow it. So I highly recommend that. And like I said, you can watch it on your own time. You can watch it over a month or something like that. But a lot of people make New Year's resolutions. You might want to make that yours if what you want is to increase your wealth. It could help you dramatically. It's only $149, I think. With all the inflation, that's basically free. There's so many other crazy stuff going on. This video is going to be so long. And all this stuff just happened the last few days. But an MIT professor was shot to death at his Brookline condo. The director of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center was shot to death last night in his home. When one of the greatest minds on the planet specializing in nuclear fusion is assassinated, it seems like a bad omen. I thought that was interesting because it also says he was in charge of plasma sciences, which is interesting, right? Like hardly anyone even knows anything about plasma, but of course people who are in the Tesla Club know about it, tzla.club. And of course the higher up people at places like MIT, Department of Defense, the Masons, they all know about plasma. And they use it for all kinds of stuff. But you can too, that's the cool thing. But I thought that was interesting. So I wonder what he knew that he got killed. There's so much crazy stuff going on. Can't even speculate on that. And I also found it interesting that just in the last few days also, Stanford medicine study shows why mRNA-based COVID's lethal injections can cause myocarditis. That just came out. Now, of course, we've already known that. It's damaged so many people's hearts. But actually, that's the first sort of like mainstream sort of study that actually shows that. And the FDA's even said, or people are speculating they're going to have to put that on their warning packet that it might destroy your heart, which we already know. But it's actually all coming out now. And this is all the stuff I was talking about. And it's, you know, so many people have these lethal injections and you might not even know you have myocarditis. It just makes your heart weaker. And then if you have any sort of problem, you might basically just have a heart attack. And so many people are like that now. But we know from at least one person who Max Egan did the Tesla machine on someone, it was like a 20-year-old girl who took a blood transfusion and then had myocarditis from someone who had the vaccine. After about a month with the Tesla machine, she went back to the doctor and she didn't have myocarditis anymore, which isn't supposed to be possible, by the way, but it is possible with the Tesla machine. So that's, you know, if you've got lethally injected family members or yourself, like you probably have a bunch of this stuff, and the Tesla machine seems to cure most of it. So you might want to think about that. And since I've been gone last few weeks, there have been so many Tesla-monials, but here's just a couple. MK said, I was diagnosed with diverticulitis in 2015 after being in the hospital and getting a CT scan to confirm the pockets. The condition is irreversible and flares up occur every couple years. For me, it has been every 2 to 3 years in between. I thought I was having another flare-up in the last 3 weeks and was put on some antibiotics as normal to reduce the infection. After the meds stopped, my pain came back worse and with a high fever a few days later. I spent the night in the ER, and after another CT scan, it showed no signs of diverticulitis or any pockets. The doctor had never seen anything like this before and was baffled. When reading the original CT scan, reported 3 pockets on the colon, each being 5 centimeters in diameter. He called over another doctor and nurse to compare the CT results, 10 years apart, and all of them said that they've never heard of pockets disappearing. I've had the machine for 3 months and it has completely reversed a supposedly lifelong ailment like I've never had it. Amazing. The pain and fever I went for was caused by the antibiotics killing all my good gut bacteria from treatment that I didn't actually need. It's been 72 hours since I left the ER and I'm almost back to normal. This gift never stops amazing me. Thanks to the Tesla team. And here's LK Bit. After using the Tesla machine for 3 months with my daughter, I experienced an incredible surprise. She has struggled with an underactive thyroid for over 10 years and has always needed medication. After 2 recent blood tests, her thyroid levels came back perfectly balanced. We couldn't believe it. I am truly thrilled with the results we've seen. I also noticed a personal change. Some of my gray hair has actually disappeared. I'm amazed by these unexpected benefits and very happy with the Tesla machine. Yeah, that happens so much. People don't even expect they didn't even think of it, that the Tesla could help something or something with them or their family. And then they try it and they're like, oh, I just cured it. Like this happens so much. And then I saw an interesting one because, you know, a lot of the stuff I say that has changed my life dramatically was healing my trauma of my childhood with my father in Egypt. And then I saw this, a person posted this in the Tesla Club, and it's kind of related. From Mike D, here's a bit of my background in trauma. In no way do I diminish or minimize anyone else's trauma or look for anyone to feel sorry for me. Rather, I report my trauma here so group members can see how much I've needed healing and how any progress is a huge win. In my childhood, I had to endure years of physical abuse from a very angry father who disguised it as discipline. He did not punish with fists, break bones, or draw blood, etc., but mostly applied blows to the buttocks with lashes of a belt, ping pong paddle, a slipper, a shoe, or his bare hand. Sometimes he always seemed to find a reason to punish me for something, however insignificant, seemingly on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. The lashes were always delivered to the buttocks with the trousers and underwear pulled down for maximum pain. These punishments were called spankings, leaving long thin stripes in the skin that endured for days. This abuse went on from when I was 4 to 12 years of age, during which I guesstimate about 200 beatings, and the minimum number of lashes was usually 10. Outside of these beatings, I lived in a constant, horrendous, paralyzing anxiety and dread, since I never knew when a spanking would befall me. Once on my 10th birthday, and again in the summer of my 11th year, I was punished with perhaps 80 to 100 lashes. I think he stopped when he saw the welts were beginning to bleed. The human brain is designed to protect us from trauma by reducing the blood flow to those areas of the brain where the memory of traumatic event is stored, thereby allowing the rest of the brain to develop normally. As a book on trauma says in its title, "The Body Keeps the Score," I realized that trauma is also stored in other parts of the body too. To heal myself of trauma, I apply the spiral lamps from the Tesla machine to my cranium on the forehead, sides of the head, top, back of the head, and neck, so that plasma penetrates into the brain. And I believe it's healing me. I also apply the lamps anywhere in my body it feels sore, weak, in pain, or fatigue, since trauma may be housed there. When the lamps grow hotter, I know the body is absorbing more plasma, and maximum healing is taking place. I don't know how the plasma works or seems to know where it's needed most, but it never lies, nor does the body lie. The Tesla machine is absolutely amazing. I never imagined such a device existed, and I'm so happy it's helping me recover from trauma. A very deep-seated unconscious sadness and shame is dissipating. I also use other modalities for healing, example meditation, during which I embrace traumatic events in my past while immersed in the truth of source. I refuse chemical medicines, but adding this machine to my arsenal of healing methods is advancing my healing in a big way. If anyone in this group needs help from trauma, I'm sure the Tesla can help you. Peace and joy. Oh, there's Apples. How you doing, Apples? Oh, good, good. Yeah, I missed you. Gone a month again. Hope you're sticking around for more this time. Yeah, don't worry, Apples. I'll be here. But yeah, I've heard from so many people that it actually helps them with their trauma as well, the Tesla machine. So it's pretty incredible. Tesla.club. You might want to get it. Just FYI, I've talked to the Tesla team more in the last couple of days. And they're like thinking about shutting down with all this digital ID stuff coming out. They're not going to do it, so therefore they won't be able to ship here soon in Mexico, probably anywhere else in the world fairly soon. There might be a way that they can still do it, but you know, all of these things I've talked about in this video, these are all going to be happening over the next few months. So if you want to get access and become a member of the Tesla Club, so you can get access to the Tesla machine and all the information there to heal all of your stuff, you should really rush. And I'm not saying that for any reason, but just to let you know, because you know, in a few months, if there's for some reason no one can get a Tesla machine anymore, become a member of the Tesla Club, I don't want to be, it'd be one of my more sadder atotosos.
I told you so.
Anyway, I gotta run. I got a whole bunch of stuff to do. The dogs are all playing. Oh, Apple's barking at everybody, trying to keep them in line. But they're all quite happy here. Lots of room to run. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. That was a lot that happened just the last few days. Good thing they waited until I was back from Egypt, though. What do you think of that, Apples? Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully I could be on a few more of these. Couldn't make it to Egypt. You know, I'm not taking those vaccines to fly. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.
I am Greg Reese, producer and creator of the Reese Report. I imagine the type of people that are going to be going to Anarchapulco are people that are open to the idea of, you know, functional anarchy and agoric society and all kinds of ideas that are far more advanced and humane than government. So yeah, that's why I'm going. I'll see you there.
fire starts spark like flint. Ideas ricochet, no permission, no stint. Borders dissolve, minds expand. Every soul sovereign, every mind grand. No contract signed, just a handshake truth. Ancient wisdom reborn in the fountain of youth. Rules crumble like castles at high tide. Revolution lives where the dreamers reside. Golden horizon, the birth of the free. Echoes of laughter, the waves decree. Freedom is anthem, a beat in the chest. Anarchapulco where the restless rest. Anarchapulco where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fight, and Acapulco spoke. Anarchapulco where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fight, and Acapulco spoke.
With performing artist Ayame. Anarchapulco opening party on February 15th. Anarchapulco Genesis, February 16th to 20th. The Dollar Vigilante TDV Summit, February 21st. The Crypto Vigilante TCV Summit, February 22nd. Agorapulco, retreats, and other excursions, February 21st to 27th. Bufo and other plant medicines with Bearheart throughout the event. A special Iboga ceremony with Christoph Melchizedek from February 23rd. Bring the whole family. The Anarchapulco Family Camp runs throughout the event with activities for non-lethally injected, free-range, unschooled pure souls. Anarchapulco 2026. Genesis. Puerto Vallarta,